covered lineman. Now we also run someplace where we call him out in the past, but primarily you don't care about that. All right, now, if the one play that we got called, which happens to be the go route, he now seals the corner. So now the quarterback comes outside, we have the corner sealed. The only time that's going to happen is like if they run man under and a guy runs off, or nickel and a guy drops, and the tackle's on a guy and he just seals on the tackle. You got like a 4-man rush or a 3-man rush or some kind of rush like that, where he actually has an opportunity to seal. Because if a backer comes, he's got to block him. Now we don't call that seal in the corner, we just call it blocking. That backer doesn't come on all routes but a go, he works back across the formation. Okay. I was just answering some letters on the plane coming, and some kid from New Jersey asked me this question. Do you see some 8-man front? Okay, they saw predominantly 8-man front. And he had something drawn up like this. And the same on the other side. He said, okay, now, I said, what do you do if they bring those front 4 guys? Okay, now, first of all, you got to answer, what do you do with the rest of the defense? I mean, you got to do something. Either you got to cover free safeties there, and you got to run a backer across with there, or somebody's wide-ass open. Now, if they don't run anyone across, then what we're going to do is we're just going to keep throwing to the open guy, throwing to the open guy. And we'll just throw off one guy off the corner, we'll post his fanny, and then if they don't cover them all, we're going to run them. Okay, now, if they run them all, so now what they're in is a blitz with 4 guys coming from this side and 3 guys coming from this side. If the quarterback does not want to go into the 4-man, we don't have any way of reaching it, then we may go the other way. And we'll have a variety of ways that we can get there, you know, just like we do with anything else. But if they're just going to sit there in a 3-deep concept, and they're going to bring a guy, and they're not going to cover up, then we're going to get a division on the guy they're not going to cover up. And we'll do it a variety of different ways. We might get off this guy, or we might bring it like this if they're bringing the free safety over and get it off him. But we're going to read a guy for the quarterback and take advantage of it. And that's not a big deal. Okay, now, any question on base 60 or 61 protection?
Okay, a couple of them here.
Okay.
First one is you mentioned cutting the guy when you're getting beat. Now,
Okay.
you don't want to cut the guy unless you're getting beat.
Right.
And why is that?
Well, because it's much easier to stay up on a guy over a longer period of time if I got my feet underneath me, moving back and forth.
You're not going to get back into play if you cut him, or you might miss him if you try and cut.
Well, in a cut, when you cut him, now the only thing you got left is you're down on your hands and knees, you're scrambling. And it's much more difficult to scramble and stay on you than it is if I'm up on my feet moving with you. I can move better with these than I can down on my hands and knees, or hands and feet. And half the time your kid does go to his knees, and sometimes you can get him to stay up. Some kid will stay up on his hands and feet, you know, crab him 4 ways. But I think it's more important that a high school kid has an ability to cut than any other place, unless you're mismatched in some college schedules. Because you're going to get some mismatches. Now, maybe you guys won't, because you're a pretty big high school, and maybe you won't get any real bad mismatches. But even then, you got some super that's playing for Apple Valley, and you got your kind of average kid on it. They search him out, and then you need to have that kid have an ability to win, scramble, so that he always has a way to win some way. Now, I tell you, in some high schools...
The seam call was the next one.
Okay.
We'll do that at the same time.
Okay, we'll do this. Okay, seam call, that'll be the first thing that you have to do. Because when you're in I don't care whether it's a 4-3 look or 3-4. If you're mostly 3-4, let's use 3-4. Because that'll happen the fastest. When you start motion to the wide side of the field, they will slide somehow their lineman, however. But they're going to get some movement. They might knock down, from the back side. And you want to bring your center on side. And if we don't, that's just number 1, that's number 2, number 3, number 4. But you've got to have your kids believe that there will be absolutely no mistakes, no questions, no possible mental error. So we want a seam call. And seam just means I'm going to go on side. Now, there might be other reasons why you have a seam call. You might have 5 guys here. And you want a seam call. If this guy's covering on the backside, we want him reaching all the way down to the front side, because seam brings everyone down from the backside. If this guy is the only one here, then these 2 guys are going to work, and we'll talk about backside on these 3 guys.
So coach, now if he doesn't give a seam call, that nose is the 1 and the backers the 2?
That's exactly right.
And now if he gives a call, then the nose is still 0, is that it? And then the backer shifts to 1?
Well, no. We still have the numbers the same, except now everyone's number goes over 1. So now he's going to go get 1, he's going to get 2, he's going to get 3, and he's going to get 4.
Okay.
I guess you could do it the other way, doesn't make any difference, the same exact thought. Okay? If, and sometimes this happens, for whatever reason, that guy shifts to there, and we don't get any call, he's got 1. And sometimes, if this guy is way off, we don't get any change. 1, he's way off, he goes ahead and takes 2, and I don't want to get you confused. But we do just exactly this sometimes because everyone has a great angle. And if the backer is not a threat, we'll go ahead and just block him, block 3, and turn his man loose. Our thought always is we want to protect the front side 6. And if you get this deep and you got 2 coming hard from the outside, I sure don't want to screw around if this guy's just sitting there. He becomes backside. I mean, he's going to be a late rush if he comes, so I want to go get the man that's an immediate threat to my quarterback. Always we're going to take care of the immediate threat first, if that makes sense to you. Okay, on the backside. Now, instead of getting the thought where we're going to get a stalemate, we now want to always step to the inside gap, and we want to work you so that now you're running around me, so I am taking the inside number, more like a drop scheme would do. So you're now letting the defender slush around your outside shoulder. If we've got these 2 guys, I'm going to step back inside, and if this guy were to rush, I would want to take the inside man and turn him loose as a 7th man, if we had a 7-man rush. Okay, now if we have this guy coming free from the front side, he would pick up that man. And that's true in any defensive look. Let's say they got 2 backers there. This guy drops, I'm still setting inside, he comes, then I turn and pick him up. But it's always the inside number of these 2. Okay, let's give you another look. Let's give, which is a little tougher look. Let's go like that on the backside. Now, these 2 people are setting inside on both these. If the first man comes outside, I pick him up. If he drops, I'm going to come backside. If he comes, I go and get him. If this man comes, I keep him. If this man comes, I drop inside, pick him up. I drop inside, he drops, I take him backside. Okay? Now, he steps, he comes, I pick him up. He continues, I go get him. It's still 1-2 on the backside. And you're not going to get a lot of split-sick looks because the rest of the coverage as you draw it up is so unsound that you're not going to see a great number of looks like that. But you may see some. I would say this, the high schools are more prone to try anything than any other level I've coached against. I mean, I played against a kid one year who's a damn good coach. And he played us with 3 guys from there. Everybody else outside. Well, shit. obviously, they said, we really shut off your passing game, didn't we? And I said, yeah, shit, you did. You know, you did a hell of a job passing game. And I thought, Jesus Christ. You know, we're dumb, but we're not that dumb. We're gonna, anytime you got three guys inside your slot, you ought to be able to run. But you will see more looks, and you have to be ready for more things. But if you just break everything down, each concept, then it becomes very easy. I think the game is a great deal simpler than most people make it. Anyway, question.
Here's another one. Okay, say they give you they shade the nose to motion and they eagle down on the backside.
Just kind of like we just did.
Yeah, just kind of like you did. You got a seam call.
Okay, now he's
more
more than shading. He's over.
Yeah.
Because if he is just shading, our center's going to stay with him.
Okay, he's
gapped. He's
now.
gapped so that he's one. He's not on the center.
Okay.
If we're going to get a seam call.
He's shading.
Okay,
down
now
here.
you want one there. You want him further inside than that?
No, put him head out.
Okay, right there.
Okay, and tackle. They move their outside linebacker down on the tackle.
Okay.
You know, you're getting tremendous penetration from the backside over the backside guard.
Well, you
Okay,
are.
No, this is just a hypothetical situation. Sure. Okay, your center's handling the nose.
Okay.
There's no rush from the linebacker on the guard side, so he's working backside.
Right.
Okay, now how does he recognize not to bury himself on the man that's over your guard?
There's one.
Yeah, the play side guard is blocking backside. Okay, you're getting penetration.
How does he know not to bury himself here?
No, you're getting penetration from the
Okay.
tackle over the guard, right here. Okay, no, it doesn't even matter whether the other linebacker is coming or not. Maybe he's looping or something. But how does this guard?
This guard?
No, the right guard. How does this guard read not to help the backside guard and slide by and pick up a possible maybe you've got the linebacker on the left side of the offense here is coming to the outside. Okay.
Okay.
And so you've got a guy free here. He's just looping.
Okay.
Some way.
Okay.
Now, how does he know not to help the other guard and slide by and pick somebody else up?
Well, how he knows is, first of all, he's in a little better position because he's off the ball. So as he steps, and the center's on him, now as he starts to work back, if this guy gets beat, and color shows, bad color, wrong color, we want him blocking. We don't want him running by. If this guy's got him beat, if his body is in front of that defender and he's got his own color, then we say, work by him. If this guy's got our guy beat, we don't want him working by him, we want him blocking, because that's the most dangerous man. So we are always going to work back across every man. Even this guy. Let's say this guy beats this guy. As we step, we sure as hell don't want him running by that guy. We want him blocking. All right, now, this guy blocks him, and this guy misses him. If he misses him, we now want him working backside.
Okay. Is there any set rule you give them as to whether your man is beat or not, or just general observation?
You mean this?
Common sense, yeah. Whether to help on him or to slide by him.
Other than the color principle.
We run into problems with that, where you bury two guys on one man and a third guy springs free.
This is the way we usually lose two guys on one. That's tough.
Yeah.
They're coming through a gap. That's tough. Well, I mean, you just got to coach it and coach it. I don't have a specific answer. Sometimes that does happen. And that one, I think that's much tougher, especially if these guys are really good ones. I mean, then you can know it's going to happen to you, and it's tough. Like, we'll step to help this guy without an automatic call and not be able to get him out because this guy's such a stud. I mean, that happens to you. Or now you block this guy on him. This guy doesn't come, and because he gets so much penetration, he can't work around him. Yeah. You know, well, if he can, we want to make sure that he does block the guy enough he doesn't get to our quarterback. But you got to get some. I mean, you got to get some where if they got a real stud, I think it happens more often in high school ball, where that guy is a hell of a player. You know, he runs around. He may create enough of a gap where he takes a 2-year guy. I mean, sometimes he's going to have to. I think that's true.
Coach, we look at that as you have it drawn there, you have that stack. You number that 1, 2, 3, the ends 3 and the backers 2.
On the backside?
Right.
Right.
So now the guard's going to line up with the 1 and the tackle with the 2. Now if they come out of the stack,
No, he wouldn't. If it were happening just like this,
Yeah.
he'd step down to the inside, guard's gonna stay right on him. This guy loops, he immediately blocks there. Because he's always gonna take whatever comes second out of 3 on the backside.
Okay, so now,
Always.
so on the backside, you're not necessarily assigning man. You're counting.
Never.
You're counting
Never.
who comes this side of the center.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so it's totally different principle for the backside. Always is 1, 2, 3 on the backside, inside out. On the front side, you're getting stalemate and sticking with it. Uncovered is always working backside. So he's always going to pick up. Now this guy, who's now uncovered, has no idea what's happening to these guys. All he's doing is working back across. Everything's picked up. He ends up picking up the last
You
guy.
tell him to go the play side guard dropping backside. Is that aggressively attacking, or is he waiting for the defense to come to him?
We do it 2 different ways. If we're in just straight 60, we say, you be a little less aggressive and run the guy by the quarterback. Always keep an inside alignment. If we got 90 on, now our quarterback half rolls and sets, now we say you must build a wall aggressively from a straight drop from your center to the backside. Now we'll really, just like a trap block, we'll take the guy
Could
out.
you just repeat what you just said again one more time?
Okay, on a 60, when we are rolling, on all our 60 stuff, we're saying, now you take the guy and you ride him by. If you can ride him by like that, you've done a hell of a job. Well, not quite like that, a little more like that, okay? Now, if it's 90, and I'll show you the pattern, our quarterback's gonna roll and set. Now we don't want you running by, we want you to build a wall from your center to the backside. So now it's a more aggressive block. 90 tells the lineman they're gonna block it exactly the same, except if you're uncovered, now you've gotta block aggressively from the
So
middle.
you don't want to
of the formation.
penetrate a line.
We don't want to penetrate beyond this, right? That's right. We don't want to get into our quarterback and jerking his arm up.
I have one last question.
Okay.
They have a straight nose and he comes to the backside A gap. Is that backside guard then just going to jam him and then he's going to look
That's
for
right. All
first
he's
and
doing is getting in position to block him or cut down the area. Again, he's depth. This is the only guy who can't get depth because he's got to snap the damn ball. So all of them are stepping in back of him. All right, the nose goes to here, okay? Then all he's going to do is jam till the center has an opportunity to come off on him, then he comes backside. All he does is close the area down. That's fairly easy. Now, I think you have to know the difference between this I hate to get into ETs and TEs. This is not a slant. This is a loop. Now, we like to take him, and if we're getting loops, then we will zone them. But I would never start with it in high school. I wouldn't even teach it in high school. If you're getting a lot of it, then I guess you have to do it. But how many times you get the loop stunts? Now, you may get it with this. Then we go blocking. That's a little different there. You're going to get this, and that's different too. But I'm talking with the nose. Or you get this with the end looping.
How did you pick up the backside backer blitzing across to the play side?
With the onside guard. You mean in a 3-4?
Yeah.
Like this?
Yeah.
That one? Yeah, everyone run that. Just like that. I don't think that's tough. I think that's much easier than the 4-3. This,
Why-
I think, is tough.
Why did the backside guard go over there?
Because that's the first guy coming from the backside.
So
Well,
you
I
see you're blocking.
So he's first man to come wherever he comes, even if he comes on the play side. You have to
Right.
go over there.
Oh, exactly. Right. No question. The numbers are still important. How they come out of the backside becomes important. Like this. If you got this, okay, and he slants to the outside, and this guy loops inside, we want him setting back inside, and we want him taking the backer.
Right, okay.
So that this guy is the last guy. That's all we're trying to say.
Okay, so guard then is
And
block.
when this will happen to you, probably more than the other things we've been talking about, where they're actually taking a backer and slanting him back inside and running the outside. And, you know, truly, as far as not chasing ghosts, but in reality, that's going to happen to you. Right.
So
We'll
so
get the nose and the linebacker coming strong.
Right.
so if the
That's
nose so if the center is covered, he's blocking nose. Guard, backside guard, then takes the first guy to penetrate
From the backside.
from the backside.
That's why he always
Okay.
sets to the play side
Sets-
gap. Just like everybody else does. If you're not front side, well, let's get this guy so he's just like that, and then we'll step ball to the front side. Okay? Okay, now we all step to the front side gap. And now he's on line scrimmage, so I'm going to step wherever he is. If he's a little shady there, I'm going to get there. If he's a little this way, I'm going to step to it because I am play side. Okay, now I step to the play side gap and come back side. I stop to the play side gap and come back side. Okay, now, however they come, that's how we block it. This guy slants to the inside, is still man. I'm going to stay on him. I just help. My guy drops. Okay, I start working back. This guy beats my center, I block him. My center's got him blocked. Okay, this guy beats both of them. I block him. This guy runs a stunt. Okay, I go block him. He drops. I now turn to the backside. If I get this guy, I block him first. If I can get to him for this guard, we want to protect our quarterback always in order where they're coming from. All right, then. This guy, if he's gotten beat, may turn back out on him. He gets him, he may turn out on him. Okay, now, our single back blocks, B drops, he works backside. Unless it's the go route, then he's going to steal the corner. If B comes, we're going to block him. B comes up here, we're going to block him. Now, we'll talk a little more about this. You don't have any control. I mean, they can keep you inside, they want to keep you inside. We don't care whether they keep you inside or whether you get out there. That doesn't make any difference to the play. But he's going to do that. Now, I'll tell you how we block, and I've always blocked. We blocked this way in high school too, but I guess it's illegal now. With this guy, if the outside backer, defensive, whatever he is, whatever you call it, guy, he's coming really hard, and I open to the right, and this guy's coming hard at me, we get as close to him as we can, and then we throw a left hook and hit him with the scapula part of our back and just roll. And we call it a roll block. And if that's Lawrence Taylor, and this is Bruce, Bruce has still got to knock the hell out of Lawrence Taylor. I mean, Lawrence Taylor will go down if he's coming hard. Because I don't care how good the guy is. If he's coming hard, he's just got to block. Now, I don't know whether you can get by with that. If you can't, then you can't do it. I think if you can, it's unfair. You can't do it. It's unfair for this kid then. I mean, what the hell? Maybe you may have to put him in a little up position then. But anyway, that's the way we did. All right, now, if the guy comes across this way, then we ride him out, and we'll just stay just like a lineman, and just keep our feet on, and run him as far outside as he wants to go. Okay? If the guy drops, now, as we make the step, we get right here, and we get to where our on tackle's butt is, and we work all the way back across the formation, unless it's go around. The worst guy to try to block, and you don't have, it hadn't happened to me since I was coaching high school, but it used to happen sometimes, is the guy that just sits there. And if he's a big stud, his coaches told him, get you inside knee up and hold your ground. We don't block that guy. We tell this guy right here, you get right up, right in his face. If he's a great big guy, just don't piss him off. Just stay right there. And if he starts to jump up in the air, because we had a kid once who later played for Oregon, we called him King Kong. Jesus Christ, he was so much better than the rest of our kids. He'd reach up and slap the ball down. He said anytime he looked like this, slap the ball down, you stick your helmet right in his nodules. Dunk! Right there. And that would be the last time he ever does that. And that's the only thing you do with him. If he starts to come, then you butt him. He starts to drop, say super, I screw around, I go ahead and go backside. If you go try to throw a roll block on that kid, it just kills your kid. That guy breaks his ribs and all that stuff. Makes him non-aggressive. But I truly don't have an answer for you if this guy just comes like crazy and you can't roll block him. I guess what I would do, can you do this? Can you block him thigh with your
Well,
shoulder.
actually, the rule, we can't block below the waist
Huh.
when he's in that position, when he comes from that position. Now, there's some officials that'll call it, some won't.
Yeah.
I think the key here, though, Coach, to that is what you said before, like your offensive tackle that you were talking to. You gotta make him believe.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got to block that kid.
Right.
You gotta sell him that he's gotta block him.
Right.
You can't roll block.
Well,
It's a matter of selling him again.
And I would want this kid to just a little bigger, a little tougher, because somebody's gonna try to do that. You know, I mean, they're all, yeah, that's how a lot of people tell us, you know, that's what we're gonna do to you. Well, hell, they've tried that, but I tell you, if they try to do that against you, that's great. Yeah, if they're sitting out there, they either gotta be in strong side zone, or they gotta be, well, in double corner roll zone, we'll just kill it, we'll just throw it out here 100%. If they're in man, then the ball's gonna be gone. I mean, if they're bringing that guy, they're gonna pay. So they're not gonna stay in that too long, because you're gonna kill them moving the football.
See, actually, the rule is, it again comes down to really a fine line, though. The rule also says, if I go to block you down there, and you put your hands out, it's now legal.
Oh.
And there aren't
Well,
many
I bet you
guys.
they'll put their hands down.
Yeah. See,
Oh,
there aren't
that
many
helps.
guys that aren't gonna put their hands down if I'm coming for your legs.
Yeah, I bet there's
But,
none.
again, there's probably none, you're right. But again, it's official, you know, how are they gonna call it? I don't know.
Well, I know if I were this kid, I would want to roll block that guy, because it's just an advantage. Now, when we teach this, if you teach it, we taught it on a crash pad, because when we roll, we don't want to beat our kids up. And we practice an awful lot of time on artificial surface. Now, you got grass, it's not quite so bad. But even on grass, it's better if you got a crash pad. And then the kid rolls, and if you come this way, you throw in the other hook, so that always the head's outside, and it's just a roll, and it's an easy block. It is a very easy block, and a very effective block. And why they ever made it illegal, I don't know. Seems to me it's less dangerous to a kid coming from the outside to do that to him than it is to shoulder block him. You know, because you get the hyperextension of the knee on a shoulder block. This, you normally just knock their feet out from under. But anyway, that's what we do with that guy. If I had trouble with it, another thing that I would do is I'd put this kid in the up position. And now he's just like a lineman. He blocks in immediately on line of scrimmage. And just then, you know, doing the same thing, exactly the same thing. I don't like that as well, because you give a little more direction where you're going. If you do that, you have to work it in so you can run some other plays with another kid blocking and run him on some routes so they don't start keying. But we do it some.
So you put him in almost a trip slip there with 2 men in the slot?
Right. So your Y is there and the other guy's there. And we might even have it like that. Early rip. 60 Z slide as an example. And run the route right from there. If you just got one call, obviously the guy's in stationary position. If you got early rip, load rows, it look like that with an up position. We always call the up before move. Upright. Early rip, 60 Z slide. Okay? So you go upright, early rip, line, 61, X choice, special, whatever. Okay. Now line. I think, who coaches your line?
I do.
Who does? You do? Okay, you got other questions, cause, so okay, here's the deal now, we were doing 12 guys, but it's the same deal, this is 11. So, okay, now, if the free safety walks up and they blitz him, okay, we run motion, strong safety locked on there, corner locked on there, corner locked on there, who's got this guy? So, okay, this guy's got it, okay, backer. Okay, then, this is nothing but a backer, you see that, Bob? Okay, so we went through this about 14 at a time. I get ready to leave, I'm going to Houston. And the last thing he said before, and I said, hey Mouse, would you go through that why they can't safety blitz us one more time? So I'm always leery about line coaches, what they mean by it. Yeah, I understand. But the principle is 7 guys on it. I mean, that's all they can do. And that is no different than any other number one. If he's over here, he's still number one. He's got block one, he's responsible for two. This guy's responsible for three. If one of these two guys come, well, somebody's open. But if they both run off, or if we got this guy coming, and the fourth guy comes,